Some days everything you do is affected by clumsiness. Today is one of those days. So this video could go okay, or it might go terribly wrong, but worth watching to find out, eh? And welcome back to my channel. My name's Nikki if you're new here. I am the host of Macabre London. Now, because we are now into September, can you believe it's September and what has happened this year? Nothing. Well, like a lot of stuff, but also nothing. We're now getting towards October, and obviously with the lovely thing that we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, that's going to be cancelling a lot of people's plans for this year when it comes to Halloween, definitely. It's a sad time, but that doesn't mean that we can't make our own fun, because that's what we have to do now. Make our own fun.
Around me are familiar.
And for me, I like making kind of weird stuff. Merry Christmas!
Why, thank you, darling. Let's have oh my god!
And messing about. And generally creepy shit.
It's only death goo.
So I thought maybe you might want to watch some craft videos with me, just because it's something different and, you know, something a bit more chilled out. And so on my travels the other day, I happened to be in a shop that had just put their Halloween decorations out, and I found this guy. Now, this is my new friend. I haven't given him a name yet, so maybe we should work out what he's going to be called.
Leave a comment down below, please.
But I saw him hanging around and he made me think of something from like the Chamber of Horrors, so I thought, why not get him and see what I can do with him, and then maybe for future Macabre London episodes he might have a place on this plinth back here, but we'll see how he turns out and if that works or not. If he looks like crap, then he won't be there, but yeah, we'll see. But I figured because his face is a little like not fantastic, his hair is obviously dreadful. He was very cheap. He was £6 bargain price, but I thought, why not just have a bit of fun and try and paint him up so he looks a bit better. So I've got a few bits to help me, and I have some acrylic paints which I bought ages ago and have been sitting around in the cupboard waiting for exactly this moment when I have a zombie head to paint. I also have some brushes which were also hanging around in the cupboard. I've also got some stage blood, and I don't know whether this is going to work or not.
Spoiler alert, I do not use the stage blood.
So the first thing I need to do with him is to obviously make him look a little bit more lifelike, even though he's dead. So I figured I might start off and just like paint his mouth a bit more human coloured, and to just kind of give him a bit more depth of texture and things. Like at the moment you can tell that these are definitely rags at the bottom here. Thinking if I can dip them into something to make them a bit redder, to make them look more tenderly and more like you've been freshly decapitated, my dear. So to begin with, perhaps it might be a good idea if we can make him slightly more skin coloured, so then kind of like the gore and stuff will show up a bit better. I keep waving his head around, I hope you're enjoying this, because I am, and then we'll go from there, I guess. So first and foremost, I'm gonna mix up some skin colour. So these are all the different coloured paints that I have. Probably more this colour here, and then mix in a bit of white, and then probably a little dab of purple as well, just like the tiniest bit. So let's try that one first. I don't really have anything I can use as a palette. What can I use as a palette? Oh, I think I've got some card. I'll get some card. Pierce this and hope that it doesn't, like, you know, sometimes when you get tubes of stuff and if they've been like pressurized and a load of it comes out in one go, I'm just gonna have the tiniest little dab of purple and put the lid straight back on that before clumsiness takes over. Tiny dab of this yellow and a bit of white. So that's the amount that I've got so far. Watch as I drop this on the floor. But yeah, so I'm just gonna mix those together and see what happens. So I think we're already way too yellow, so I'm gonna have to put some more white in that. And I think that's sort of a relatively decent skin colour. I think I might put a tiny bit of, possibly a little bit of pink in there as well. Okay, so I've got a deep red here, so I'm gonna be very careful and just put the tiniest little pinch in there. Now, I just wanna say that I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to this sort of thing, but I've got enthusiasm, and isn't that the main part of it? And also, ooh, that looks pretty cool. Also, doesn't matter if I get it wrong, because he was £6, and if needs be, with the acrylic, I reckon it would probably wash straight back off again. Also, doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna apply all of that over his face. I'm also gonna put a tiny bit of water on my brush to make that a bit easier, because I kind of want it to be, I don't want it to be like really thickly spread on there. Oh my god, this hair is so terrible. Okay, so I'm gonna start on the back of his neck, because I feel like if I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Ah, cool. Okay, it's coming up all right. I don't know whether to, for his hair, whether to order him a wig. If you've got any ideas of what his hair should look like, let me know. That's now the colour of the back of his head, so it's not looking too bad, I don't think. Lovely thing about acrylics as well is that if they start to dry out whilst you're using them, you can just put a little bit of water in them and that reactivates them. Getting this nice neck fold, whatever this is. It's where they've glued his head together, getting right in his ear. Can you imagine how that would feel to have somebody put a paintbrush in your ear? So when I was younger, probably still now actually, I always wanted to do stuff like making things for, like I would love to be a sculptor at Macabre Swords, but my skill level is just not there. But those guys are so incredibly talented. Can you imagine being able to just cast somebody so they look exactly like the person you're meant to be sculpting? I can't draw people. If you can draw people, to me, you're an absolute wizard. Because I just don't understand how people can do that. It's definitely witchcraft. There used to be a gallery of heads, the Chamber of Horrors in Madame Tussauds in London. And I can't remember whose heads were on it. Might have just been like random traitors' heads. That memory of seeing those in the Chamber of Horrors has always stuck with me, so I wanted to recreate that a bit. However, I don't think my other half would like it if I suddenly had a rogues gallery of 6 or 7 severed heads. Like, I would love it. I don't think he would. There's some compromises that you have to make when you're in a relationship, and I think probably in ours, severed heads is probably where he draws the line. So this gradient of where his skin colour goes into the blood there at the bottom, I'm not too worried about painting that all the way down to the bottom, because I want to bring that up, bring the blood up a bit higher. Yeah, because I kind of want to make him quite gory. And again, I'm just starting with that colour on the back of the neck. I'm acting again like this is a tutorial that you're actually going to follow, like any of my tutorials anybody has ever sat down and followed. If you have, then I don't really know what to say. I don't know whether I'm impressed with you, or if you need help, you might need help. I find all this sort of stuff quite relaxing and quite enjoyable. I can already feel that his hair is slipping off the top there. So I think even if I do decide to keep him like that, I might have to reglue it. I find crafting stuff quite therapeutic and nice to do. Lots of ASMR as we go. There you go.
All around me are familiar faces.
Now with his eyes and stuff, I'm just gonna make an effort to go really into all those creases and to not really worry about making it too detailed at this stage. We're gonna add the details on later. Something I have to remember is that as this dries, we might need to do a second coat. Ugh, his hair is getting in there again. Maybe I should tie up his hair. Hang on, I'm gonna get a bobble and tie up his hair, I think. I'm gonna try to not get any colour on his teeth, because I think his teeth are probably something that I do want to keep this sort of colour. Oh, and as I say that, I just paint all his teeth. So, yeah, let's scratch that. Let's completely forget about what I just said. I'm gonna paint his teeth. There we go. Definitely something wrong about this, I think. Ooh, interestingly, he has actually got a dimple where the pupil should be. So maybe this was a mould for several different things. Some of them have eyes and some of them don't, maybe. Now, if any of you also like Halloween like me, if any of you know any channels that actually dedicate themselves to Halloween and Halloween crafting, please let me know, because I love watching that shit. There's a documentary, back when Love Film was a thing, this is showing my age now, when Love Film was a thing and you could order DVDs through Love Film, I ordered the DVD for a documentary of these guys in America that did all these like home haunt things and made all their own props, and there was like 3 of them that lived in the same neighborhood, and they would all kind of like compete against each other to have the best Halloween haunt. and I love that stuff. Anything like that where people are being super creative with creepy things, that's the best. So if you know anyone on YouTube that does that, then please let me know. I know there's Christine McConnell who had her own show on Netflix. She makes cool stuff, but her skill level is way up there. My skill level is not up there. As I said, I have the enthusiasm. And I've just covered myself in paint. Now, if you're American and you're watching this, why is Halloween so big in America? And why is it not bigger in the UK? I don't understand. Halloween always been a thing for you? Or have you seen it progress over the years? Because when I was little, Halloween was not a thing at all. And I remember always wanting Halloween to be a thing. So much so that I used to go out trick-or-treating on my own without parents. Thanks, parents. We lived in a very small, quiet place. It was okay. And I used to dress up and my mum used to let me carve a pumpkin or something like that. And I would wander around on my own dressed up with nobody else, and I wouldn't go and knock on doors or anything. I would just walk around with a pumpkin like an absolute freak, and my mum would drive behind me. So that gives you just a little bit of an idea of how much I've always loved Halloween. But yeah, so I don't understand why it's never been a thing. I thought that like anything that people could make money off would be a thing. I don't understand. Okay, we're starting to get there with his head. Bit at the top there is a bit patchy. I need to do a bit of a better job, I think, on there. But on the areas where it's smooth, it's looking all right. Okay, there we go. Let's coat one on his face. And he's pretty much dry now, so I think we're good to go for coat number 2. Okay, so I'm just gonna let him dry now. Do another layer on him, and then we will reconvene when I can start putting all the details on his face. That's his second go over, and I don't think he's looking too bad. There's some parts of him that aren't covering properly, so like there's this little blob there that's not really covering, but I think it will. It probably just needs like a little bit of time to dry thoroughly, and then I can just patch that back in again, but I might just turn that into a spot of blood, you never know. Definitely improved in colour. The idea to do a patch test on the back was a good idea because he's come up very yellow on the back, so yeah, but actually on the front I did a different skin tone in the end and made it slightly pinker, so it's sort of layered it up a bit. So yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. I am gonna leave him to thoroughly dry now for probably about an hour, I reckon, and then I'm gonna start putting the details on. So yeah, I'll be back then. Well, like no time for you, but for me in an hour. Okay, I'm back, and now this guy is now dry. So what I might do is just put a little bit of brown together and do his eyebrows, and then just work down from there. And then I'm gonna do some like skin texturing towards the end and put in some more little like all freckles and spots and things. So maybe brown is a good way to start. So I'm gonna mix that up now and then get started on that. So hungry today. You know when you just like, doesn't matter what you eat, you're just gonna be hungry. That's how I feel. I feel like now winter is coming.
It's a bit nippy.
Sorry. I feel like now it's just, I'm just gonna start feeling really hungry. I'm gonna use this really fine, thin brush for the brown, and I'm just gonna kind of see what comes out here, but I think I'm probably gonna lighten it a little bit. I don't really need that much, I don't think, so I'm just gonna put a little bit down. No, hang on, actually, if it's his eyebrows. Oh, the fact that he's on the floor and I just looked at him, he did make me jump a little bit, so I think he's starting to look a little bit more human-like, which is good. Yeah, that's definitely too dark. Can you see the 2 dots there? That's too much. Too much. So one thing I've been doing at the moment, and one thing that, well, I say I've been doing it at the moment, I've been doing this for quite some time, is going onto YouTube and watching haunted houses and POV things of theme parks and stuff, and like fright nights and things. And I love doing that because it's like you can go to anyone in the world. So things like the Disney ones, the Universal Studios horror nights and things like that. They're things that I'm probably gonna never get to go to in my lifetime. So watching those on YouTube is so much fun. I think I'm gonna put a touch of purple in that because any skin colours and stuff, if you're trying to make them, always add in a touch of purple and you will be super surprised at how skin-like that makes it. On his eyebrows, he's got little gaps that have already been put in the moulding process when they made him. So I think I'm just gonna lightly outline these. I think actually this is a little bit too light for his eyebrows, but I think for a tongue colour, it'll work really well. And because his tongue's inside his mouth, because obviously I think what I might do is just use that whilst it's still wet to save me a job and to paint his tongue. Now his tongue's probably going to be quite difficult to paint because it's got all these little pock marks in it. So I'm just going to take it steady and try really hard to not get this all over the place. Now for the back of his mouth, what I might do, because that's going to obviously be naturally darker, like when you look it's going to be black. So I'll just put a little bit on his lips there. Looking good. I'm pleased. Now one thing I'm trying to avoid is making anything super bright because his head has been cut off, so he's still going to look lifelike and not like the grey that he was before. I don't know why when I'm painting bits that are on my face, why do I go like as if it's my face that I'm painting. It's so weird. Okay, I'm not quite decided what I'm going to do for his lips yet, but I think I'll probably bloody them up a little bit. So I might just paint them with this pink colour. Do I want to do that now? Guess probably if I just give them a little light-ish wash. I think this might be a little bit too pink. Yeah, we're getting a little bit more detailed in his mouth now, so it's looking a little bit more human. So I don't really like that red that's on his eyebrow, so I think I might do... What do eyebrows look like? What do my eyebrows look like? Mine are quite dark, I guess. Mine are also tattooed on. I think possibly that burnt sienna is a little too orangey in colour, whereas the burnt umber... Why is everything burnt in here? There's been a fire at the acrylics factory. So, have you guys got any plans for Halloween yet? I'm guessing because you're here watching my channel, you enjoy spooky things. So if you've got any plans for Halloween and what you're gonna do, let me know, because obviously at the moment, everything is slightly different in the world depending on where you are as to what the lovely virus is doing. People in different places are doing different things, so wherever you are might be different. So here in the UK at the moment, we can do some things. And I know that some Fright Nights are happening, but obviously socially distanced, of course, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, because if somebody is 2 feet away from you and jumps out, is that as scary as somebody popping out next to you wherever you are? And obviously everyone's going to have to wear masks, so not so much of a bad thing if you're a horror actor, but is that not just going to like muffle screams and things? So is it going to make it less scary? I don't know. Right, I think this browny black might be a bit better for eyebrows. Yeah, there we go. Right, this is quite hard because where the lines are in his eyebrows, quite hard to fill them in. I'll sort of try my best to do some feathery lines, make them look like eyebrows. Now I know at Madame Tussauds, they put in every hair with a little needle. So they actually wig make the eyebrows and even the eyelashes and things, which is crazy. So they're not painting them on. I'm gonna have to put his head on my lap. Yeah, so they use actual needles and put in every single hair onto that person's head. Okay, we're getting there. And then I just have to replicate the same thing on the left-hand side. But what we have to remember is that eyebrows are sisters, not twins. I think I might have possibly made them a little bit too long, but also that's kind of where that natural brow line goes. I think it's okay. My answer to everything is to just put a little blood splash over the end of it, and then nobody will know. That's how you hide all mistakes, like everything. Just cover it in blood, it's fine. So far this video is already an hour long. Not for you, but for me. When I'm editing, this is already an hour long. We're only at the eyebrows. Oh, I'm having a lot of fun. Are you having fun? I'm having fun. The nice thing about when I do stuff like this for videos, I'm sitting here not being distracted. So usually if I was doing something like this, I would have a film on in the background, or I'd be listening to something, or I'd be watching TV. Quite good hanging out with you guys, because it means that I can sit and do this uninterrupted and really put my full time and effort into it. Feels good, feels nice. Now the left eyebrow is darker than the right eyebrow. Is this a problem? What to do? Let's not continue to make the same mistake. Let's thin out this paint. In the time that it took this guy's head to dry, I was watching an Insta story of an amazing painter and also radio presenter that you may know, and also ex-bass player of A, which if any of you remember that band, one of my favourite bands. Go and follow Dan P. Carter on Instagram and tell him I sent you if you do, because he is an amazing painter. And I was watching his story and he had started a painting and he was saying that an hour and a half ago he was going to chuck that painting in the bin, but then when he came back to it he quite liked it. So sometimes you just kind of got to give things a little bit of time. I feel like I have really fucked this up though. I don't think time is going to fix it, but maybe with the benefit of hindsight, I might be able to see how to fix this. I think maybe it just needs to be a bit thicker. So yesterday my phone camera ran out of memory, so I ended up losing quite a bit of footage of where I got up to painting this guy. We're getting there, starting to look better than he did. So this is his mouth. Hopefully it'll focus so you can see. And then I've put a coat of white on his eyes, add a few more eyebrow hairs, I think. Now I've left him overnight to dry a bit. I think his skin is looking a little bit lackluster, so I was thinking what I might do is mix up some PVA with some paint just to make him slightly glossy, because skin is obviously slightly glossy, so it would be good to do that. So I'm going to have a play around and try it on the back of his head and see if that works. So I'm just going to crack on now and do a little bit more and see where we get to. I think the eyes are probably going to be quite hard to do. I think I need to add a bit more red around his mouth as well. So I'm just going to crack on and get that done. And then I'll check in with you when I've finished those bits. Where we're up to now. So what I've done, I've put on some little freckles and little skin marks on his nose and things to make him look a little bit more human-like. I've put some bruising around his eyes as well, because if you had just had your head cut off, you're probably going to have a bit of bruising. Kind of given him like a slightly reddy wash over his face as well to make him look a little bit more lifelike. And I've started now on the eye. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see there, but I've started doing some very small little thin veins in his eye. I'm going to paint the pupils on and then see how we go, and then if that's not looking exactly how I want it, then I'm gonna repaint it from there. I'm gonna have it so his eyes are rolling back in his head, so I'm gonna have a look and see if I can find some reference and just paint in the pupils from there, because I'm not really sure what colour he should be. I guess probably because his eyebrows are brown, we probably should just go with a brown, I think. Unlike me with my brown hair and my blue eyes, I think probably he just needs to have brown eyes, doesn't he? And then after I've done that, I think I might try and touch up this little bit of skin texture in here, because this hasn't come out the right colour. And there were a few bits that did that, so like there's a patch here on his chin and also round to the side here, which hasn't quite picked up the skin tone colour that I would like, but it kind of adds a bit of depth, so I might sort of see if I can work with that and yeah, turn it into something a bit more. But yeah, I'm pleased he's coming out okay.
Perfect.
That's what he looks like. What do we think? I'm really pleased with him. I think he came out really well, so I think he's quite good. So there you go. Just goes to show that if you buy yourself some acrylic paint and a cheap crappy Halloween item, you can actually turn it into something which isn't too bad. Thank you for watching today's video. If you like this and you'd like to see some more, I am going to do some more craft over Halloween. So if you want to see that, then do please subscribe and drop me a comment and let me know what you thought of how this came out. If you like this video, I have got some more Halloween videos that are on my channel and also plenty of other Macabre London episodes as well, so do just make sure that you subscribe, and there's plenty to watch if you're new here. And if you're not new here, thank you for watching again, and I'll see you ghouls soon. Thanks then, bye!